look at these defense numbers in particular, because we are flashing those details on our television screens, the total Ministry of Defense allocation has gone up. This is 9.53% increase over 2024-25 and about 13.45% of the total union budget, which is the highest among all the ministries. But this is not just about modernization. Of course, as you said, it's pensions as well, but domestic procurement push is also there.
No, this is good idea because we have done a lot of the import substitution.
That's right.
But what we are all trying to wrestle with is when we started this morning, we said, okay, how do we address the cloud of uncertainty that the geopolitics has done? How do we address the rupee-dollar situation? And how do we address the investments? Now, you would have expected that the budget speech at some point would have a paragraph, 2 paragraphs, 1 line, 1 slogan to say this is what we are doing and then align the pieces. This is a budget that has landed between hope and hype.
See, two numbers.
That's an interesting one.
Two numbers
between hope and hype.
Yes. First number, the total increase in expenditure, total expenditure of the government of India is 7%. Yes. This year or last year, nominal. 7%.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's not get carried away by this. Second, as far as capital expenditure is concerned, it remains at 3.1% of GDP, revised estimates last year and budget estimates this year. There's no change. So, you know, the big numbers, there is a certain status quo as far as the big numbers are concerned. On defense, you know, your increased spending, fine. As I told you, after every conflict, there is increased spending. But the issue today that defense companies are waiting to hear from the government is what is your equipment purchase plan, you know, procurement strategy. What will you buy over the next 5 years? Because I will not produce it if you will not give me a guarantee of buying, because you are the only customer. And a budget speech like this that increases defense expenditure by 13%, which is what you have calculated, I have not done the calculation, should at least have said that the government of India is going to have a 5-year plan or a 3-year plan for defense procurement, so that companies know that over the next 3 years, this is what they're going to be buying, and then they make the production plans, which is not in place. That has to be put in place.
One more point. But that I think is anyway announced separately. It doesn't have to be part of a budget speech as to what the government is going to buy.
Am I right? One of our takeaways is it vaccinates India against Trump tariffs. Does it really do that?
Yes, I think it does. It does.
How?
Because we are focusing on, look, we can't do anything about the tariffs right now. The negotiations are still kind of, we've hit a stalemate there. But right now, we can do is focus on what our domestic economy can be stimulated. And that's what she's done by allocating a lot of resources to lots of different initiatives domestically, and also bringing data centers to India, and allowing foreign companies to then work with domestic companies. So that's a good initiative. The thing that we aren't discussing is that while the 7.2% GDP number, real GDP number is good, our nominal GDP and the company's earnings, which foreign investors have been seeing for years, they feel India's nominal GDP is not good and the earnings growth isn't good. Now, this budget isn't going to address that. It's not going to address, it's not a growth-oriented budget. It's a long-term, little by little, build the foundations across many, many different areas. So it won't really bring FIIs back in a big rush. And then we've been one of the worst performing markets this year to date. And now we've got this STT. So it isn't going to really, even though it's marginal, it's not what investors were expecting.
No, the dollar returns on this economy is poor. Because the rupee has tanked last year. And this doesn't look like it's recovering. So if you take the prism of the dollar returns, it will be different.
Rajdeep, on the point of defense acquisition, now we know that there is a Defense Acquisition Council. What can a budget do, frankly? It is also a question of our decades-long manufacturing incapacity in defense that is only now being addressed. There is an incapacity in faster approvals because of the overhang of past decisions. Also, although that has changed, this government has devolved powers with regard to the level of acquisitions that can be done. The third bit is there is an essential dichotomy between what our armed forces want. They are dealing with very cunning, very devious adversaries on both fronts, and they want top-of-line equipment. Our own manufacturing capacity sometimes, and this is the most recent comment about the delays in delivery of our indigenous fighter jets. I mean, I frankly don't see that turning around in 1 year. I always recall what the late Manohar Parrikar tried to do by bringing in a platform-based strategy and 6 or 7 large manufacturing champions who would not do individual arms.
Okay.
And we reported on that story. They would do platforms. That never went through, Rajdeep.
Okay.
Okay, Chairman of the 15th Finance Commission, that is Dr. N.K. Singh, is joining us live. Mr. Singh, thank you for speaking to us. Your first big takeaway of this budget.
Okay, N.K. Singh will join us shortly. Remember, the 16th Finance Commission report headed by Arvind Panagriya comes out later this month, and that will be looked at very closely, particularly in the context of states.
Already done today.
Already done today is what, are the details out?
Yes, yes. In fact,
Can you tell us more?
So see, the 16th Finance Commission report, Rajdeep, continues with 41% allocation, devolution rather,
For states.
for states as the previous 5 years. So what does that broadly mean? Number one, it does not cut back any state at the gross level. Number two, if you look at the choice that is being made at 41%, the Finance Commission and the government saying that we have accepted it. In fact, that was the one-line item that the Finance Minister spoke about before she began her speech. Yes, it clearly means that as far as the resource availability to states is concerned, that continues down a path that has been followed for years. So, Rajdeep, very quickly, I think we should look at this budget as a defense at the ramparts. They are not going out to capture new territory, but they are making sure that whatever is existing, not even a square inch is ceded.